US probably call that Uncle Sam or IRS. When you mention names like that, people tend to panic or get the message. Like, oh, I don't want trouble there, or I don't want their trouble, I don't want tax. But it's a way of life, it's a fact of life. People that build well, and the taxman can stay on the right side. That's how you build well. But more importantly, you can actually control your taxes. That's what we're talking about today. Benjamin Franklin said, certain things are taxed and certain are not. One of them is death, the other is the tax. Death and tax. You make money, you tax. You save money, you spend money, you tax. You save money, you pay tax. You die, you pay tax. Okay. The taxman is always stretching his powers. Income tax, state tax, property tax, other taxes. Taxman will always be there to lie. The cost of citizenship. So, how do you control your tax? So that you can build your wealth. This is the issue we're talking about today. And remember, we talked about this middleman, the interest rate. We're talking about tax today. We introduced the concept of time, which you cannot control anyway, whether you like it or not. The seconds are mounting, the days are going, so you cannot control. You can only use your interest rate to gain time. Use your interest rate to gain time. That's the middleman that you have. Then we'll, in another discussion, on the next topic, the next biggie, in fact, it's the biggie or the biggest is inflation. Like somebody sent me a question and was asking, these crazy inflation rates, how do we, get over them? And I think I've hinted on some of these things in some of my earlier postings, earlier videos, but the point remains. Inflation is a biggie, and you can actually get over it. That's the point of this educational series, okay? Like I was hinting at it, make sure your investment, your savings, the savings aspect, the returns that your financial advisor is bringing you is higher than the inflation rate. And that can be done. That can be done. So we will look at some of those instruments, as we discussed. One, don't forget, you have your money. You can negotiate that. You have to work, make the money, okay? And you have to pay tax on them. You have to, organize to save. Get yourself some freedom and some planning. But where do you save? How do you save? That's very smart. That's very important, and that's where you need help. And then, what does the inflation rate do to help you build your? How do you get something that's above the inflation rate to help you build that wealth? That you can rely on in case of emergencies, in case, of that time you are old enough, or actually leaving something behind for your children. Somebody also hinted, I think I was trying to mentioning the classifications of taxes, the kind of taxes that we pay. And I think in the last discussion, yes, you pay tax. You pay tax right now, which we call, and I'm going to define them, tax now situation. And we have situations that we call tax later or tax deferred. That is a gray area but you need to take advantage of. Tax later or tax deferred, or tax advantage. That's another area you need to look into as we go into this discussion. We may not finish everything this afternoon, this discussion in this particular episode, but we will kick it, we will start it. But where I'm getting at is this. the starting point, there are some things you don't even pay tax about. There are some things if you are, the government is not going to ask you to pay tax on your will. People have thought about hiding their money in foundations and trusts without understanding how those work. Yes, they are tax exempt, okay, but you are actually spending money on those trusts and foundations. You are giving money away to the needy to help people, okay? It's not building money. It's not building wealth. This discussion is about building wealth, not about hiding the money. Okay, if you have excess, you want to leave a legacy, you want to leave a name, yes, those foundations and trusts are there, and government helps you to achieve your aim, your good heart, by taking those, off the tax limit, of the taxes. But with those, you are not actually putting your money in so that you can make some gains, so that you can make some profit on your money, so that you can make some wealth out of it. Those are just, ways of helping the society, and government recognizes that by not taxing you. So there are tax exempt situations, yes, but they don't help you to build money. They help you to live a good name, okay? And feel free with your personal morals, okay? So every economy in the world, wherever it is, whatever it is, whatever label you give it, they impose some form of tax, of one kind or the other on the people. But we are talking about capitalist systems now, which is the one that is open to us, direct to us, and we can actually discuss in some more detail. Okay, in capitalist systems, they have different principles or names they call them. Different names and different titles, but the same principles commonly apply. So, what I'm getting at is this: what we call it in the US, for instance, may not be the same name that they call it in the UK or in Africa or in Asia. But so long as it's a capitalist economy, a variant of the capitalist system, you will pay tax on various ways you make money. And that's what I'm beginning to hint at. The various mechanisms by which you make money, you will pay some tax, okay? They may have, they may have different names and what have you. I'm going to stick on the American names of these monetary tools, monetary systems, money instruments that you use to make money. You can Google whatever it is in your own country. I'm sure when you type that in Google or you search for it, it will tell you the equivalent. Particularly when you are not in the US, you will pop up the equivalent name or instrument for you as I'm talking about, as I'm talking on. So learn that is it going to be easier for me to use these examples in the American system. I'll try to explain what they do so you can know what you are searching for, right? To help you know what you are searching for. Also, I'm not a tax professional. I'm not a taxman. I'm not a tax expert by any means or yardstick. And I'm not trying to offer you tax advice, okay, through this. I'm just, opening up as somebody like you on the streets. Some information that you may not be aware of concerning your tax situations and how you pay taxes. How you cooperate with government to pay your taxes. Or you will pay tax wherever you may be. Okay, so you may have to talk to your financial advisor or financial professional who will be able to direct you on how to handle that aspect of the transaction. But let it be very clear. You're going to pay taxes, even when you die. You're going to pay taxes. You're going to pay tax. But how does that help you, to make money when you're saying I'm going to pay? And that's what this discussion is about. Okay? If you want to test, try to go to any of the funeral homes and say, oh, I want to prepare my grave or my deathbed or have my funeral, you see see that they will pull up either insurance project or something project for you. You are paying ahead, and you will pay taxes. Okay. So let's get back to where you go to work. At the end of the week or at the end of the month, they give you your check. You may remember the video I did about the guy who earns $13. He earns $13 an hour in the US, my area of the US, yes. I gave you an example of how he can actually begin to discipline himself and to save. Number one, by first thinking in his head that if the first hour of my hard work, that's the best part of you right today, is to save for myself. Every day, is earning $13 an hour, 68 hours. The first $13 is to himself. Every other thing can go to rent payment, debt payment, whatever. But the first $13 is for me. If he thinks that way, he can actually make a good legacy. So now we extrapolated it up to $2 million. Consistency. So if you are 25, you know you have at least which savings account. That's the kind of thing. And today we are talking about how the tax affects that kind of savings. It also dictates where that tax, where and what kind of savings. So like I made another explanation of one of my videos, what did your parents teach you? What kind of advice do you have? What's your advice for savings? Where do you and who are the obstacles, who are the challenges? This is where the taxman comes in, tax comes in, inflation rate comes in. Those things are going to attack tax, inflation, going to attack that. How do you get around that money, that value? 50 years, 20 years, 30 years. So, like I said, inflation rate is a biggie. So let's talk about tax. Like I hinted, we're going to have situations on that same example where you want to do taxes now. As boss is giving you that check, actually taxed through income. So they are giving you money out of what they have taxed. They've taken income tax, sent it to the government. They're giving you the change. So that is already taxed. That's what they tax. Paying tax. Then we have tax later. Tax later, stroke, tax because under that category, tax later, you can mix mistake. Tax later means tax deferred. So there is some slight difference because you can actually choose to set the time you want it taxed. You can actually tax deferred, tax later, sounds similar to because you can actually choose what you want taxed and what you want taxed, what you want taxed later. As the money is coming to you, you do not allow it to be taxed. The boss does not take tax out of that amount. So they will not tax that money. But when you make a profit, make a gain on that money, on the gain. In those situations, you are actually tax later and a variant of it called tax deferred. It's tax later, tax deferred. You're paying it right now, you're paying it from source, actually deferring, and then you can have one that you are actually taxed. You collected it from your boss, you didn't discuss something with your boss, you put it in an instrument. Okay. That is, you have already paid tax on it. So the only way you're going to ever pay tax again is when you make a profit. So when your savings generate some interest, $13 become $14.50. Then on that $150, you're going to pay some interest depending on your tax bracket. So that's tax deferred policy. And then also we have what we call tax advantage. Like I was saying, every vehicle, every monetary instrument that you use, you got to pay tax on them. When you have an investment, you got to pay tax on them. In the tax deferred situation, or tax later, it means that you have not paid any income tax. So by some arrangement with your boss, with your company, you are not actually paying any income tax yet on the money you are investing. And the key word there is yet. Okay? You're not paying the tax yet. The game play is this: that whenever you now choose to touch the money in the future, you will pay whatever tax is due. It is yet, and it's a game. The gambit being that how much tax will result from what you have invested, and what will you be entitled, what will be your tax bracket when is the time to withdraw that money. Because every investment, remember, must get taxed. But if your target, if your guarantee or your choice, for instance, you are thinking, oh, by the time I'm needing this money, I'll be retired. I will not be earning so much anymore, so my tax bracket will have come down. Okay? So that's a gambit, that's a calculation. Or if you've acquired properties and stuff like that and your tax bracket has gone up, it may also be a challenge. These are the things your financial advisor or your financial professional, will help you, work on. And then there are some variations of tax later or tax deferred that you have actually, paid some income tax on it, okay, before investing it. So as those ones grow, all that will happen is you are going to be paying tax only on the profit. But usually those fall into tax advantage situations. The problem with tax later situation is if you withdraw from that investment before a certain age, for instance in the US, if you are less than 59 and a half years old and you touch that investment, you will pay a 10% penalty start off. The taxman will take a 10% penalty on that money you have invested. So these are the risks. Okay, the taxman will take a penalty on the money you have invested, and then they will now tax the money you are collecting. So it's going two ways. The money you have invested, and then the money you are collecting. So you pay 10% tax. If you are above 59, then you only pay tax on the money you are collecting. So instruments like 401k or 43B, you need to be very careful also as you calculate them and put them into those tax instruments. So don't just assume they're there and they're generating money. Oh, they're generating nice money. I like I said, I know some people, by the time they graduated, they had like 40,000 in their securities account that they generated from stock exchange. And they, oh yeah, this is an instrument, let me dump it, and they dump it into their 401k. And I was hinting that that's not exactly a smart idea. It wasn't exactly a smart idea, And these are the fine areas that you need to be very careful about. Okay. Yes, by the time they are withdrawing it, if they use a professional to move the money, they may not have taxed it. And then the money is sitting there and generating value, generating interest. But the day they want to touch it, if they are touching it before retirement, before 59 and a half, they're paying in a 10% penalty on the money and tax on the amount of loan they are taking from that themselves. Okay, so all of that work into the tax later situation. Then we have the tax advantage. We have the tax advantage situation. The thing with tax advantage is that you have already paid your tax. So it's your income. You didn't even have to bother with your boss, or even if you did, as you're transferring the money from your income into whatever bank account or financial instrument you're transferring. You pay tax on it. So the tax advantage one is that you are only going to now need to pay interest when you have profit, when you have a gain generated on that investment, on that savings. So, like I said, I'm going to talk more and show you more examples of how this works in the next video. So keep it here. We're not going to rush it. I want you to get them all right. Your tax is a middleman that you have control over. Okay, you have control over it. Your tax is one of those 4 middlemen that you have control over it. They control your money. You can actually manage it and control the money so that it can help you to grow well. Remember, we talked about the interest rate. I think we've clarified that. Now we started talking about the tax. Next episode, I'm going to talk a little bit more to clarify exactly what's going on and what I mean. And then we go to the biggie, the biggest of the biggies. That's the inflation rate. And it's driving people crazy, but we'll talk about it and see how we can get around things. Thank you. Keep it here.